stop. Listen. Something extraordinary is reaching out to you right now. A quiet, powerful whisper that few ever hear. Today, God is speaking directly to your spirit, urging you to pause, to step back from the noise of life, and to truly notice the path you are walking. This is not a message for tomorrow. It is for this exact moment. For centuries, Shaolin masters have understood the strength found in stillness. They knew that the greatest power comes not from endless motion, but from the ability to stop, observe, and align with forces far greater than oneself. In today's video, you will uncover why stopping is the most courageous act a soul can take. You will learn hidden spiritual truths about how God communicates through subtle warnings, gentle nudges, and moments that seem ordinary but hold extraordinary significance. You will also discover ancient practices that sharpen awareness, protect your energy, and reveal unseen opportunities that only the quiet can expose. These are lessons rarely shared outside sacred teachings, lessons that can awaken clarity, discipline, and personal mastery. By the end of this video, you will understand not only why the pause is essential, but how it can transform the choices you make, the paths you follow, and the life you create. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. Here, we explore wisdom that bridges the divine and the disciplined, the spiritual and the practical. Each video is a step toward mastery, a spark to ignite your soul. Stay with us, open your heart, and subscribe to the channel to walk this journey together. The message you need may already be waiting, and the moment to hear it is now. There is a moment between breaths where the world softens and a deeper voice begins to speak. In that silence, the soul listens. Most pass through life in constant motion, chasing answers outside themselves, yet the divine speaks only to those who stop. Stillness is not emptiness, it is a space filled with unseen guidance, a doorway through which clarity enters. For centuries, Shaolin monks have practiced the art of stopping. In the quiet of the temple, every movement, every step is measured, but between these actions lies profound stillness. In those pauses, they do not merely rest, they awaken. The mind becomes sharp, the senses alert, and the connection to the world deepens. It is here that insight arises, subtle and precise, revealing truths hidden beneath the surface of ordinary perception. The whispers of the divine often arrive softly, like a brush of wind on water, easily drowned out by noise, distraction, or haste. By embracing stillness, one cultivates the ability to hear these whispers clearly. The path forward, previously invisible, begins to unfold. Decisions become clearer, dangers are noticed before they arrive, and opportunities appear in forms that might otherwise be overlooked. Shaolin wisdom teaches that the greatest strength is often found not in action but in the pause before it. In stopping, the practitioner does not lose momentum. They gain perspective, focus, and precision. Each moment of stillness acts like a lens, bringing the hidden into view, illuminating choices that align with purpose and truth. Even in the chaos of the modern world, a soul that learns to stop can touch eternity in a heartbeat. It is in these silent spaces that the unseen becomes visible, the unclear becomes certain, and the divine, patient, and ever-present finally begins to speak. There are moments when life feels heavier, when a subtle unease brushes against the heart, or a situation feels off without explanation. These are not accidents or coincidences. They are the quiet signals of the divine, whispers meant to guide rather than punish. To ignore them is to walk blindly. To heed them is to step into awareness and growth. Ancient masters spoke of these nudges as the voice of the unseen world, a hidden language meant for those who listen. The Shaolin monks trained not only their bodies but their perception, sharpening an inner radar capable of sensing danger, opportunity, and spiritual truth. This spiritual radar does not operate through fear. It is calm, precise, and attentive, a cultivated ability to notice what the untrained mind overlooks. When a feeling of discomfort arises, it is often a signal to pause, reflect, and realign. Perhaps a choice, a path, or a habit is no longer serving the higher purpose of the soul. These warnings are never punishments, they are invitations. They call the seeker to practice patience, discernment, and inner discipline. Each moment of hesitation, each careful observation, strengthens mastery over self, teaching that true power is found in awareness rather than reaction. Recognizing these signals requires quiet observation, the willingness to step back, and a trust in the subtle guidance that flows through every experience. Life often presents these warnings in ordinary forms: a recurring thought, a fleeting hesitation, an inner tug toward reflection. Those who cultivate attentiveness, as the Shaolin masters did, begin to see patterns, sense energies, and respond with clarity rather than impulse. In this way, divine warnings become a sacred tool, an invisible compass guiding every step. They are not to instill fear, but to awaken vigilance, deepen understanding, and nurture the disciplined mind capable of navigating life with wisdom and courage. True mastery begins not in action, but in observation. The mind is a river, constantly moving, swirling with thoughts, emotions, and impulses. To follow every current is to be carried away, lost in chaos. The Shaolin masters teach that wisdom emerges when one steps back, watches carefully, and resists the urge to react immediately. Observation is not passive, it is an active discipline, a practice of noticing the present with clarity and calm. Each thought that arises, each emotion that stirs, offers a lesson if met with attention rather than impulse. Anger, fear, or desire are not enemies. They are signals, messages about the state of the mind and the world around us. By observing them without immediate response, the practitioner gains insight. The pause that follows observation allows understanding to form, revealing the root of a reaction and offering the space to choose a measured response. This discipline is the foundation of personal mastery. Awareness does not merely illuminate the external world. It brings control to the inner landscape. Impulses lose their grip when met with mindful attention. Choices become deliberate, actions precise, and consequences less chaotic. Like a Shaolin monk poised before a strike, stillness and observation precede power. The mind learns to move with intention, not instinct, transforming energy into wisdom rather than reaction. In life, the practice of observing without immediate action cultivates resilience and discernment. Mistakes are avoided, clarity emerges, and the heart remains steady even amid turmoil. The river of thought no longer dictates the course. Instead, the mind, trained and disciplined, navigates with conscious direction. Observation is the silent strength, the invisible mastery that shapes every decision, every response, and ultimately the life lived with purpose and integrity. Energy is the currency of the soul. Every thought, every emotion, and every interaction draws from it, shaping the quality of life and the clarity of mind. The Shaolin masters understood this deeply. They knew that strength is not measured by constant action, but by the careful preservation of energy. To waste it on negativity, conflict, or harmful habits is to weaken the body, mind, and spirit. Life often presents cycles that drain the spirit, patterns of worry, resentment, or distraction that repeat until attention is given. Stopping these cycles is not avoidance, it is a sacred act of protection. By recognizing what depletes energy and consciously stepping away, the practitioner aligns with a higher wisdom. This restraint is not born of fear or weakness, but of discipline and inner mastery. Each pause, each refusal to engage in what diminishes vitality, strengthens the foundation of personal power. Shaolin teachings speak of restraint as a form of strength. A monk does not act on every impulse or challenge. He preserves energy for moments of true significance. In the same way, life requires discernment, choosing where to invest attention, emotion, and effort. Harmful habits, toxic influences, or unnecessary conflicts must be met with calm refusal. This is not rejection of the world, but a protection of the inner sanctuary, a cultivation of a space where clarity, purpose, and divine guidance can flourish. Conserving energy allows the soul to respond rather than react, to act with intention rather than compulsion. When the mind is clear and the heart steady, choices align more closely with purpose. Each moment spent protecting energy is a step towards self-mastery, a practice of honoring the sacred within. Strength, wisdom, and resilience are preserved not through relentless action, but through mindful restraint, a quiet power that endures far longer than any fleeting effort. There is a quiet power in looking inward, in giving the mind and heart space to speak honestly. Reflection is the practice of meeting oneself without disguise, without hurry. In the traditions of the Shaolin, monks would spend hours in silent meditation, observing the movement of thoughts and the rise of emotions, letting the mind settle like water undisturbed. Journaling, prayer, or quiet contemplation are modern echoes of this ancient discipline, tools to trace the patterns of the soul and uncover hidden truths. Stopping to reflect is not a pause from life, it is a step deeper into it. When the rush of daily motion slows, the choices we make become visible, no longer blurred by distraction or impulse. Decisions, actions, and habits can be examined with clarity. What serves growth? What diminishes purpose? What aligns with the higher calling of the spirit? In this sacred space, misalignments are revealed and realignment becomes possible. Self-mastery begins here, in honest awareness. It is the courage to see both strength and weakness without judgment, the willingness to confront shadow alongside light. Reflection teaches that control over self is not coercion, but understanding, knowing why impulses arise, discerning which to follow and which to release. It transforms reaction into intention, chaos into clarity, and habit into deliberate action. Each moment of reflection strengthens discipline, sharpens perception, and nurtures the soul's alignment with divine guidance. Over time, the practice becomes a mirror, showing the path more clearly, revealing the lessons hidden in ordinary experiences, and illuminating the choices that lead to fulfillment. Through reflection, the mind becomes steady, the heart becomes centered, and life unfolds with greater wisdom and conscious mastery. True strength often lies in letting go. There is a quiet courage in releasing the need to control every outcome, in trusting that life unfolds according to a rhythm greater than our own. Surrender is not weakness, it is an act of alignment, a conscious decision to move with the current of existence rather than against it. When the mind stops its relentless striving, a space opens, a space where guidance, clarity, and unforeseen solutions can enter. Shaolin philosophy teaches acceptance as a form of mastery. Monks learn to meet reality as it is, neither clinging to desire nor resisting circumstance. A fallen leaf is neither mourned nor chased. It follows its path naturally, and in observing it without interference, the observer understands the flow of life. Similarly, when we stop fighting what cannot be changed, we conserve energy, sharpen awareness, and allow the unseen forces of the universe to act. Surrender is cultivated, not imposed. It requires discipline to release attachment to expectations, outcomes, and the illusion of total control. In practice, this may look like pausing before reacting, releasing resentment, or stepping back from situations that feel overwhelming. Each act of surrender creates room for wisdom to enter, for timing to align, and for guidance to appear in forms we might not have anticipated. The power of surrender lies in the harmony it brings. It is the stillness that follows effort, the calm after the storm, and the trust that life, when approached with patience and openness, carries the lessons, opportunities, and support necessary for growth. Those who embrace this principle discover that control is not in grasping everything tightly, but in knowing when to let go, allowing divine timing to shape the path and the soul to move forward with clarity, grace, and enduring strength. There is a quiet voice within, softer than thought, gentler than emotion, yet more profound than any outer command. It is the presence of the divine within each soul, guiding, teaching, and illuminating paths, often invisible to the restless mind. Learning to listen to this inner wisdom requires patience, stillness, and a willingness to set aside the clamor of ego-driven urges. The mind, so accustomed to reacting, must first learn to stop. Only in that pause does clarity begin to arise. Ego speaks loudly, demanding attention, insisting on immediate action, seeking validation or control. Inner guidance, in contrast, whispers. It moves with subtlety, nudging the heart, planting thoughts that carry depth and truth. The difference is felt rather than analyzed. A sense of ease, of alignment, a quiet knowing that does not demand but invites. This is the language of the soul, a gentle current that flows beneath the surface of everyday consciousness. Shaolin teachings have long emphasized the discipline of listening. Monks train the body and mind to move in harmony, yet the deepest lessons come in stillness, when the breath slows, the heart settles, and the mind becomes a clear mirror. In this space, subtle messages emerge. A choice becomes evident, a path lights up, and understanding deepens. Patience is essential, for divine guidance rarely shouts. It waits for those willing to quiet the noise, to observe without expectation, and to trust what surfaces in silence. The practice of listening inwardly strengthens mastery over self. It teaches discernment, fosters restraint, and cultivates a connection to forces greater than immediate desire. Those who embrace it find that decisions become more aligned, actions more intentional, and life moves with a rhythm that feels both purposeful and effortless. In learning to hear the gentle voice within, the soul finds guidance that neither fear nor haste can provide, revealing a path illuminated by wisdom, clarity, and enduring calm. Stopping is only the beginning. Stillness itself does not move the world, but it prepares the mind, heart, and spirit for action that carries purpose and power. The pause creates clarity, allowing thought to align with insight and intention to align with truth. Action without awareness is like striking in darkness. Energy is wasted, outcomes uncertain, and lessons unlearned. Thoughtful action, guided by reflection and divine wisdom, transforms effort into meaningful results. Ancient Shaolin teachings emphasize this balance between pause and motion. A monk does not rush forward in blind repetition. Every movement is considered, deliberate, and harmonized with breath, body, and intent. The same principle applies to life beyond the temple walls. Once awareness arises from stillness, it becomes the compass for action. Each choice, each step, can then reflect inner integrity and alignment with a higher purpose. Aligning action with divine guidance requires listening, discernment, and trust. It is not always the quickest or easiest path, but it is the one that sustains strength, cultivates growth, and brings lasting clarity. Impulsive action may yield immediate results, yet without intention, it dissipates energy and leaves the spirit unsettled. Thoughtful action, however, carries a resonance that extends beyond the moment, shaping character, circumstances, and destiny. The discipline of acting after the pause teaches mastery over self. It trains the mind to respond rather than react, the heart to choose wisely rather than follow desire, and the spirit to move in harmony with the unseen currents of life. In this way, every action becomes a reflection of awareness, a deliberate extension of the stillness that preceded it, and a channel through which personal power, clarity, and divine alignment flow. The pause empowers, the action fulfills, and the cycle of mastery continues. Life flows in currents of constant motion, yet even the busiest river has moments of stillness where the water settles and clarity emerges. Integrating stillness into daily life does not require grand gestures or long retreats. It begins with small, intentional pauses. A few minutes each day spent in quiet reflection, mindful breathing, or gentle prayer creates space for the mind to settle, the heart to open, and the soul to listen. These brief pauses act like anchors, grounding awareness in the present and connecting action to purpose. In these moments, subtle insights begin to surface. Patterns of thought and emotion become visible. Habits that once ran unchecked can be observed, and choices reveal themselves with greater clarity. Over time, this practice transforms more than perception. It cultivates patience, allowing one to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Personal power grows quietly, not through force, but through consistent alignment with awareness and intent. Shaolin philosophy teaches that mastery is rarely achieved in leaps. It is built through steady, disciplined practice. Each pause, though small, strengthens the mind's capacity to observe, the heart's capacity to trust, and the spirit's capacity to align with higher guidance. Just as a river carves deep channels through persistent flow, repeated moments of stillness shape character, resilience, and discernment. By weaving these pauses into daily life, before decisions, in moments of tension, or simply at the start and end of the day, the ordinary becomes sacred. The discipline of small, consistent steps transforms not only the mind and heart, but also the way life itself unfolds. Mastery and divine alignment are not distant goals. They are cultivated in the quiet spaces we create, in the mindful rhythms we maintain, and in the patient, deliberate attention we bring to each passing moment. Life often rushes forward, yet today God calls you to stop, not as a warning, but as a gift. This pause is an invitation to step back, listen, and align with the guidance that flows quietly through your heart and spirit. In stillness, clarity arises. Through careful observation, your thoughts and emotions reveal truths previously hidden. By protecting your energy, reflecting deeply, and practicing surrender, you create space for wisdom and divine guidance to enter. And when action follows awareness, each step becomes purposeful, aligned, and powerful. These principles, stillness, observation, energy preservation, reflection, surrender, and mindful action, are not distant ideals. They are practices to integrate into your daily life, small but profound steps toward mastery, clarity, and spiritual alignment. Each pause, each moment of attention strengthens the connection to your higher self and the divine presence that walks with you. Pause today. Listen, reflect, act from a place of clarity and intention. Trust that your life, your path, and your divine guidance are unfolding with greater purpose. In these quiet, deliberate moments, you cultivate patience, discernment, and inner strength that will guide every choice, every action, and every thought. Thank you for sharing this journey with us. If this message resonated, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire. Together we walk the path of wisdom, mastery, and spiritual awakening, one mindful step at a time.